Hello, St. Stevens, and welcome to this week's Fireside Chat. I want to begin by telling a story. It's a story about Seamus and Michael O'Malley. Now, the O'Malley brothers had a reputation for their disreputable business practices. They owned practically everything in the small village where they lived, including the title to the local Catholic elementary school. Well, one day, Seamus O'Malley, who was only in his early 50s, had a massive heart attack and died. And the day after his death, his brother Michael went to the parish priest and to plan Seamus's funeral. And as they were talking, he had a very unusual request to make. He said, "Father, when you get to the place in the funeral service where you're doing Seamus's eulogy, I want you to say that my brother was a saint." Well, the priest shook his head and said, "Michael, how can I do that? Everyone in town knows that your brother was a scoundrel. He was a liar, a cheat. He didn't care about anyone but himself, and he never darkened the door of the church. How could I possibly say that he was a saint?" Michael said, "Father, everything you've said about my brother is true. But if you will say in your eulogy that he was a saint, I will sign over the title deed to the elementary school." Well, the young priest considered the offer and felt that it was too good to pass up. So he agreed. And a couple of days later at Seamus's funeral, when they got to the eulogy, the priest said, "Now, we all know that Seamus O'Malley was a scoundrel. He was a liar and a cheat, and he didn't care about anyone but himself. He never darkened the door of the church. But compared to his brother Michael, Seamus O'Malley was a saint." Now, you're probably wondering, why, Father Dave, are you beginning your fireside chat with a funny story? I hope you found it funny, and I hope you actually laughed as a result of it. Well, I wanted to begin with a bit of humor because I really believe that in times like this, in times of high stress and uncertainty, as we hunker down in our homes for who knows how long, that laughter is a very therapeutic thing to do. And this is not just wishful thinking on my part. In a recent article in Healthy Lifestyle magazine called "Stress Relief from Laughter, It's No Joke," the author outlines and lists some of the very positive physical benefits that come to us when we laugh out loud, okay? For instance, laughter stimulates many of the organs, the heart and the lungs and the muscles, and it enhances your intake of oxygen-rich air. Laughter increases endorphins that are released by the brain. Laughter decreases your heart rate and your blood pressure, very positive things. Laughter stimulates circulation and muscle relaxation, which can actually reduce the negative effects of stress in your life. But the one I like the most, especially during this time as we're trying to protect ourselves from the coronavirus, is that laughter has been shown to improve the immune system by increasing the number of antibody cells and increasing the effectiveness of T cells in the immune system. So all of this reminds me of a book that I read many years ago when I was in seminary. Maybe some of you have read it as well. It's entitled "The Anatomy of an Illness" by Norman Cousins. I think it was written published in 1979. And in the book, the author outlines how he was affected by a debilitating disease, a disease which his doctors said were irreversible, and how he actually recovered from that disease, completely recovered, through a combination of high doses of vitamin C and regular laughter. It was remarkable that he was able to basically bring about healing of his body through the application of those two realities. So my pastoral advice to you during these difficult days, during this time of stress and uncertainty for all of us, is that you become very intentional about, at least once a day, maybe more often than that, doing something, reading something, watching something on TV that will stimulate laughter. Norman Cousins watched episodes of Candid Camera and movies with the Marx Brothers in order to stimulate laughter. And it worked for him, and I think it can work for us as well. So in times of crisis, in times of stress, in times of uncertainty, laughter is good for you. A couple of announcements before we close today. First of all, we will not be live streaming our Sunday morning liturgy this coming Sunday. This Sunday is Palm Sunday, Sunday of the Passion, the beginning of Holy Week, and we are going to participate, both parishes are going to participate in the services that will be broadcast from Trinity Cathedral in Trenton. So these services begin on Palm Sunday, Sunday of the Passion, and continue on Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and the Easter Vigil. And we're going to be sending out a postcard, which you'll receive later this week, which will give you the information you need to access these services. We'll also be posting that on our Facebook pages for the two parishes and on the websites as well. So we hope many of you will be able to participate in the services broadcast from Trinity Cathedral next week during Holy Week. The other announcement I want to make is that we will be broadcasting using the YouTube platform morning prayer every morning during Holy Week, Monday through Friday, and we'll also be broadcasting live streaming Easter Sunday from the chapel at St. Stephen's in Beverly at 10:30 a.m., again using the YouTube platform. So please plan to participate as much as you can virtually, gathering together with your brothers and sisters in Christ during this Holy Week and Easter season. I want to close by telling you one final story about two bishops who were having lunch together, and they were lamenting the decline in public morals. And one of the bishops said rather self-righteously, "You know, I never slept with my wife before we were married. Did you?" The other bishop thought about the question for a moment and said, "I'm not sure. What was her maiden name?" So I hope you got a good laugh out of that. And with that, we will close this Fireside Chat. And we'll talk again sometime soon, wishing you and those you love good health and happiness. And may God bless you.